Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita classes. Let's begin with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Shabadhutam Parijana Shahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are discussing Bhagavad Gita, and already in two previous sessions we have completed the chapter 1. In chapter 1 we have seen how Dhritarashtra was not equipoised towards the sons of Pandavas. He was biased towards his own sons. Therefore, in the first shloka itself, this mentality is exposed. He is telling Mamaka Pandavas Cheva. He is telling my sons and Pandu's sons. So he's differentiating between his own sons and the sons of Pandu. So that is one of the mistakes made by Dhritarashtra. That is one of the causes of the Kurukshetra war. Then we have seen Duryodhana's diplomacy, how Duryodhana diplomatically is trying to motivate all the soldiers on the side of the Kauravas, like Bhishma and Drona. Duryodhana is diplomatically glorifying them. Then we have also seen 4 different signs of victory. Before starting of the battle itself, we can see by some clear symptoms that Pandavas are going to win. What are those symptoms? The blowing of the conch shells by Pandavas, means by Krishna, Arjuna and all other Pandavas, they are divya or transcendental. By hearing the transcendental sound vibration coming from the conch shells, the Kauravas are fearful by hearing Pandavas' conch shells. And there are other signs of victory as well. Like Arjuna's chariot is Kapidhvaj, means Hanuman is with Arjuna. The flag is marked with Hanuman, so Hanuman is also there with Arjuna. Madhava means Krishna is also present with Arjuna, and wherever Krishna is present, the goddess of fortune is also present. So all fortune is on the side of Arjuna. That is another sign of victory. And then there is one material cause for Arjuna's victory, that Arjuna has got an invincible chariot and bow from Agnidev. So because of that, Pandavas are having some benefit. And all these signs and symptoms they are telling before the Kurukshetra war that Pandavas are going to win. In the verse 21, Arjuna is ordering Krishna, Senaya Rubhayar Madhya Ratham Sthapayame Achyuta. O Achyuta or Krishna, place my chariot in between the two armies. I want to observe the armies. Therefore, the chapter 1 is named as observing the armies. Senaya Rubhayar Madhya Ratham Sthapayame Achyuta. So this is chapter 1. So Arjuna still does not know completely that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That will be revealed in chapter 11 when Krishna will show the universal form. So therefore Arjuna is ordering Krishna like a friend. Oh Achyuta, please take my chariot in between the two armies. I want to see. And Krishna purposefully draws the chariot in front of Bhishmadeva and Dronacharya, because these are two personalities in the Kaurava army that Arjuna has some kind of respect, and they are weaknesses for Arjuna. So just by seeing them, and this Bhishmadeva and Dronacharya, they are standing on the opposite party, and Arjuna is meant to kill. Arjuna is meant to fight with them, meant to kill them in the battle. So this mere thought is very, very, very painful to Arjuna. And Arjuna is attacked by compassion. He became too much compassionate, and therefore he is not ready to fight. So Arjuna started giving different arguments, and these are the very important arguments given by Arjuna, which we have to memorize in order to understand how the Supreme Lord Krishna is refuting these arguments. So therefore I highly encourage that you take notes when we discuss. So in the chapter 1, these 4 things we must remember, that from verse number 27 to 46, Arjuna is giving 4 arguments for not fighting. Number 1 argument is compassion. Arjuna became compassionate. Second argument is no enjoyment. Arjuna is thinking, if all my relatives or all my, like the whole family is called Kuru dynasty. They are a whole family, Pandavas and Kauravas. So Arjuna, being a magnanimous person, he is also considering Kauravas as their family. And therefore Arjuna is telling, if I win the battle also, what is the point? Because my family members will die. Then with whom I will share my achievement? So I will not be able to enjoy even if I win the battle. So that is the second argument of Arjuna, no enjoyment. Then the third argument, Arjuna is thinking, if I kill all these soldiers in the battlefield, I will incur sinful reactions. One should protect his own relatives. But now I am in the battlefield to kill my own relatives. So killing my own relatives, kinsmen, by killing them, I will incur sinful reactions. So that is the third argument. And the fourth argument given by Arjuna is destruction of the dynasty. If I kill all these soldiers, who will protect their family? Will protect the female members of their family, will protect the child or children and the old members of the family. And then the female members can be exploited by other unscrupulous men who are not dharmic or religious. So our lineage, our next generation will become Varna Shankar. They will become unqualified. So they will not carry the heritage of our Kuru dynasty. So the Kuru dynasty's heritage will be destroyed, and this is called the destruction of the dynasty. So if I fight, my dynasty will be destroyed because unqualified next generation. So these are the very strong arguments posed by Arjuna for not fighting. And in the whole first chapter, the Supreme Lord has not, Supreme Lord did not speak a single verse. Arjuna is only speaking, and Arjuna is lamenting for not fighting. Therefore, in Sanskrit, this chapter is also called Arjuna Vishad Yog. It's Arjuna's lamentation. Okay. So now we start chapter 2. In the chapter 2, we will first see the overview of chapter 2. What happens, then we will go verse by verse. Okay. So please take notes while we are discussing the overview. So initially, in the beginning of chapter 2, we see Arjuna's indecision. Although Arjuna has given different logics for not fighting, but Arjuna is not able to decide what to do and what not to do. Because sometimes he is also thinking, maybe I should fight because they are adharmic. And sometimes he is also thinking, no, they are my family members. How can I fight? So Arjuna has this indecision in his mind. Okay. And also we see the Supreme Lord Krishna is chastising Arjuna by strong words in the initial few verses of chapter 2. And then finally, Arjuna is accepting Krishna as Guru. As in the picture we can see. So Arjuna will say this verse. In verse number 7 of the second chapter, Arjuna says, Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammura chetam Yashreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. So Arjuna says, Karpanna dosho apahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudo cheta. Oh Krishna, I am afflicted by this karpanya dosha. Means I am not able to decide what to do and what not to do. And prichhami tvam dharma sammuda cheta. Therefore, I am asking you about the principles of religion. Please instruct me. Yashreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tam prapannam. Please accept me as your disciple and instruct me in what is proper religion. Tell me. Yashreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me. I am not able to decide. So when Arjuna surrendered and accepted Krishna as Guru, then Krishna started giving the actual knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So here we can take an important lesson from here. Till the time a living entity thinks that I am very good, I am intelligent, I can make my own way to become happy in this world, and I do not need the Supreme Lord's guidance. Till that point, Supreme Lord will be silent. But when the jiva surrenders, he understands in this material world, I am always unhappy. And sometimes I get some happiness, and I am not able to realize that 90% of the time I am in anxiety, I am struggling in this material world. This material world is giving me pain. This is dukkhalayam asashvatam. First of all, realizing this thing is a very big achievement, because due to the effects of Maya, people are not able to realize that we are in a suffering condition. People think we are doing good. I am best. Even a stool-eating hog thinks I am eating the best delicious item in the world. If you offer some freshly formed halwa to a stool-eating hog, the hog will not accept the halwa. He will say that this stool is better than the halwa. So that's the situation. People in this world, they are suffering and they are thinking that we are happy. Why this happens? Because they do not have any superior taste. Till the time they have taken birth in this world, they are tasting this only, and therefore they are habituated to this painful situation, and therefore they have adapted to this situation and they think we are happy. But a person who tastes the happiness in bhakti or connecting with the Supreme Lord, that person will able to differentiate that these material pleasures are like stool-eating hog. So therefore, when Arjuna surrendered that, oh Krishna, I am not able to understand, Krishna started to instruct. Similarly, when we surrender unto Krishna and we accept the suggestions of Krishna spoken in Bhagavad Gita, then we are able to relish our life. Then we understand, oh, life was so beautiful, I never knew. Because we are driving our life in a wrong way, not following the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord has constructed this universe. Supreme Lord has created us, and he knows the best way for a jiva to stay in this material world happily. And he is revealing those secrets in Bhagavad Gita. So if we adopt that knowledge, we will be happy naturally. So then Krishna started instructing Arjuna and refuting the arguments of Arjuna by giving him actual spiritual knowledge. So first section is verse number 11 to 30. Please take a note of this. So verse number 11 to 30 is called the section Jnana or Sankhya, which is analysis of body and soul. And this is the first step of spiritual knowledge. And this is the first philosophy discussed in Bhagavad Gita. And this is the basic thing. And this is the origin of all misconception. Because people do not know that we are not this body, we are soul, there is so much misconception. And they have a completely different materialistic worldview, which leads to pain, depression, anxiety. If we accept this fact that we are not this body, we are soul, if we understand, there are many scientific evidences also we have discussed in earlier sessions. So, but if we can accept this fact, then our life will change. So therefore, Krishna is also discussing about this knowledge initially in the Bhagavad Gita. So by discussing this knowledge, Krishna will refute Arjuna's first argument, which is the compassion argument. Okay, so you can take a note that 11 to 30 Sankhya or Jnana is discussed, which is the analysis of body and soul. And by this, Krishna refuted the first argument, which is compassion. Okay. So I will pause in between so that you can take notes, because taking notes is very, very important. Otherwise, we tend to forget. We are Kali Yuga souls. We should not rely on our memory. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a prediction. Prayena alpayusha sabhya kalovasmin juge jana manda sumandha matayur manda bhagya upadruta. So Kali Yuga souls have the tendency to forget. And we are always afflicted by Maya. If you do not write down, then there is a great tendency the whole course will be useless. Even after going through whole Bhagavad Gita, we will not be able to remember things. Yeah, so we'll discuss in detail. But here are a few important verses like Dehinosmin Jatha Dehe Kaumaram Yovanam Jaram Tatha Dehantara Praptir Dhirastatra Namuhyate. So in this verse, Krishna says that a living entity in his present lifetime also changes different bodies. Like the body in the youth is different from the body of the old age. Currently, modern science also says that after every 7 years, almost all our cells are replaced by new cells, right? So we are getting a completely new set of body. So Krishna is telling the exact same fact that the body we have got in the youth is different from Kaumaram Yovanam Jara. The body in the age of Kumara or childhood is different from the body of the adulthood. And that is different from the body of the old age. So these bodies are different. So in a single lifetime also we change bodies. And that is death means another change of body. So there is nothing surprising. Dhiras tatrana muhyati. A dhira person or a sober person is not bewildered by such a change called death. Death is nothing but changing of another body. In the present lifetime also we are changing body. And that means another change of body. So what's the big deal? So Arjuna, why you are thinking so much that I will kill my relatives? Oh, what will happen? Anyway, they will die and they will change body. And their soul is indestructible. Soul will be always there. So why are you lamenting? So then Krishna also says this verse, Matra sparsas tu konteya shitosna sukha dukkhada agama paina nityastam tatikshashva bharata. Means you have to tolerate your urges. You have to tolerate your attachment and detachment. Due to the attachment to your family, you are not executing your dharma, kshatriya dharma, but you should tolerate. We'll discuss more on it. But from this section, you can take just this note that 11 to 13 is Jnana or Sankhya, which is analysis of the body and soul. And the first argument, compassion, is refuted by this section. How that is refuted, we will understand when we go verse by verse. Now comes the next section, 31 to 37. Okay, 31 to 37 is called Sakam Karma section, where Krishna refutes the argument of no enjoyment. And here the theme is prescribed duty gives enjoyment. So you can just take this much note. 31st to 37. From verse number 31st to 37, Sakam Karma is described, which is basically prescribed duty gives enjoyment. And this is the refutation of the no enjoyment argument. So this is the second section. Sakam Karma, which is prescribed duty gives enjoyment. And this is the refutation of no enjoyment argument. So Arjuna was giving a material cause for not fighting. What will happen if I fight and if I kill my relatives, then I will not be able to enjoy. So Arjuna is thinking of material enjoyment. So Krishna is also giving an answer in the material platform itself. Krishna says, even if you are looking for material enjoyment, still you should fight. And Krishna will prove how by fighting you will get material enjoyment. Arjuna, you are thinking wrongly that if you do not fight, you will get material enjoyment. But the reality is, if you fight, then you will get material enjoyment. So even for getting material enjoyment, you should fight. So that is the main theme of this section. We will see how, but just we are going through the overview now. Okay, now the third section is 38 to 53. This is called Niskam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga section. Niskam Karma Yoga and Buddhi Yoga. And we have to understand these two things are same. Niskam Karma Yoga means Buddhi Yoga. And we will discuss elaborately on this. What is Karma Yoga? What is Jnana Yoga? What is Bhakti Yoga? What is Buddhi Yoga? What are the differences between all these different yogas? And what is a superset? What is a subset? We will discuss all of them. But just now, take a note that this section 38 to 53 discusses Niskam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. And the theme of this section is detached work without reactions. If we do detached work, means if we are not attached to the fruits of our work, we will not get any reactions. So detached work without reactions. And this is the refutation of the sinful reactions argument. Krishna is telling Arjuna, if you do Niskam Karma Yoga, if you fight with Niskam Karma Yoga, then you will not incur any sinful reactions. So do not worry about sinful reactions. You can do Niskam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. Okay, so this is the third section, 38 to 53. And there are a few important verses we will discuss. And then the last section of this chapter, when Arjuna understands everything like this Niskam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, after discussing this section, Arjuna will ask, so who is a person? Who is a person executing Niskama Karma Yoga? How can I identify such a person who is completely executing Niskama Karma Yoga? What are the symptoms of such a person? How can I identify how the person behaves, how the person works? A completely self-realized person who is executing Niskama Karma Yoga. What are the characteristics of that person? And the technical term for such a person is called Sthita Prajna. So you can write that Sthita Prajna means what? A person performing Niskam Karma Yoga completely. So the word Sthita Prajna means a person who is completely performing Niskam Karma Yoga. And such a person is called a self-realized person. A person with steady intelligence. There are many synonyms. But in essence, Sthita Prajna means a person who is completely following Niskam Karma Yoga or completely performing the Niskam Karma Yoga. So from 54 to 72, this is the last section of chapter 2. Here Arjuna is asking that what are the characteristics of Sthita Prajna or the qualities of Sthita Prajna, and all those qualities are explained. Verse number 54 to 72, qualities or characteristics of Sthita Prajna. Okay, so there are many things like a person who is Sthita Prajna is not affected by happiness or distress. There is a tortoise analogy that when a self-realized person goes into a materialistic atmosphere, the person withdraws all his senses and he does not indulge into any sense gratification. But whenever there is a devotional atmosphere, he expands his senses and his senses become very active. So such a person is selective, where to become active and where to become inactive. In tamasic, in mode of ignorance, materialistic atmosphere, the Sthita Prajna person will be inactive. In a devotional atmosphere, where glorification of the Lord is going on, where discussion of philosophy about the Supreme Lord is going on, such a person will become enlivened and all the senses will become active. So there are analogies like senses are compared to snake and a devotee is compared to snake charmer. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. In this section, we will see how can we leave the lower taste. Currently, we are habituated in a materialistic life, and therefore, we are thinking that this is the only way to get pleasure. So we are accustomed to this kind of low-level pleasure. So how can we leave these low-level pleasures? By getting higher taste. When we start getting taste in understanding Bhagavad Gita, in chanting of the holy names, in associating with devotees, in worshipping the deities, in honoring prasadam, in all these transcendental activities, when we will get some pleasure, and this is higher taste, when we get the higher taste, then automatically the lower tastes will go away. But initially, from day one only, we cannot expect that we will get higher taste. So even if we don't get any taste, we have to be like we need to execute our devotional service regularly. This is a prescription from Srila Rupa Goswami. Even if we are not getting taste, we have to do it regularly, and then one day we will get taste. Just like a jaundice patient, if we give some sugar candy to a jaundice patient, the patient will not be able to get the taste of sugar. The sugar will taste less to that person who is having jaundice. But by taking sugarcane juice, the jaundice is cured in due course. And after some time, the patient will start slowly getting the taste of sugar. The sugar will start tasting sweet gradually. And that means his jaundice is being cured. So similarly, initially, when we do chanting, reading or understanding Bhagavad Gita DT verse, we may not get any taste, but we have to take it like a medicine, even if we do not like. And then one day, gradually, we'll start getting pleasure. And that is a symptom that this bhava roga, or this material disease, is getting cured. And there are other things, like analogy of ocean is given to Sthita Pragya. So we will discuss that. So that's an overview of chapter 2. So in essence, initially in the chapter 2, Arjuna's indecision, Lord's chastisement, and Arjuna is accepting Krishna as Guru. So Arjuna is surrendering in the beginning of chapter 2. Then the first section is 11 to 30, Jnana or Sankhya, which is the analysis of body and soul. And by this, Krishna refutes the compassion argument. Second section is Sakam Karma, 31 to 37, where the theme is prescribed duty gives enjoyment. And this is the refutation of the no enjoyment argument. The third section is 38 to 53, Niskam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. The theme is detached work without reactions. And this is the refutation of the third argument of Arjuna, which is sinful reactions. And then the last section is 54 to 72, qualities of a Sthita Pragya. Sthita Pragya means a person who is completely following Niskam Karma Yoga. What are the characteristics of such a person? So now we can dive into verse by verse into this chapter 2. Okay, so go to the advanced view and yeah. So the first verse, so when I will recite, you can also recite. You don't have to unmute yourselves, but you can recite so that you also get the benefit of reciting the verses of Bhagavad Gita. So chapter 2 starts with text 1, and Sanjaya is telling this verse. Sanjaya is narrating the whole incident to Dhritarashtra, right? They are sitting in Hastinapur and Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in Kurukshetra. So here Sanjaya is speaking to Dhritarashtra. So Sanjaya has already narrated that Arjuna is completely devastated. He is not ready to fight with his own kinsmen, and he is demotivated, he is anxious, and he is sitting on the chariot like disheartened. And now Krishna will start encouraging Arjuna. So Sanjaya is continuing to Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya uvacha tam tatha kripaya vishtam ashru purna kulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana or Krishna spoke the following words. So now Krishna started falling. When Krishna sees that his devotee is demotivated, Krishna starts acting and motivating the devotee. Only if we keep a relationship with Krishna, then Krishna takes care. If we say that Krishna, I don't need you, then Krishna will not disturb you. Krishna respects the free will of a living entity. So by free will, you can choose Krishna, then Krishna will help you. You can also say, Krishna, I don't need your help. I know everything. Then Krishna will say, okay, I will stay quiet. No problem. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kasmalamidam Vishame Shamupasthitam Anaryayushtam Asvargam Akirtikaram Arjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, in this battlefield, what are you speaking about? You are a Kshatriya. All these negative thoughts should not come into your mind. Why these have come into your mind? So although Arjuna is a pure soul, Krishna, by the Yogamaya potency of Krishna, Arjuna is now illusioned and he is asking questions like an ordinary person. So by chastising Arjuna, Krishna is actually chastising us that, oh spirit soul, after coming into this material world, what happened to you? You have lost all your spiritual qualities and you are thinking in terms of material pleasure only. What happened to you? You lost all your spiritual knowledge and you are in complete ignorance. This does not befit your character. You are Satchidananda spirit soul. So therefore, you have to wake up. Spirit soul, please wake up. So then Krishna says, Klaivyam asmagama partha naitat tvaya upapadyate shudram hridaya dorvalyam tyakto tishtha parantapa. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such pretty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of enemy. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you should fight, you should wake up. These things are not befitting your character. Then Arjuna is telling, Arjuna uvacha katham bhishmam aham sankhye dronam cha madhushodana ishubhi pratiyotsyami puja har harishodana. Arjuna said, O killer of the enemies, O killer of Madhu. So why Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Madhushodana? Because Madhu is a demon and Krishna is the killer of the Madhu demon. Therefore, Krishna's name is Madhushodana. So Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Madhushodana because Arjuna wants Krishna to kill the demon of doubt inside Arjuna. So therefore, Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Madhushodana. O Madhushodana, O Krishna, just like you have killed the demon Madhu, please kill the demon of doubt inside me. I am in indecision. Please rescue me. So therefore, Arjuna is telling, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? Bhishma and Drona is worshipable for me. How can I kill them? How can I shoot arrows towards them? So this is the doubt I'm having in my mind, confusion. I'm there in the battlefield to fight, but how can I fight? Gurun ahatvahi mahanubhavan shreyo bhuktum bhaiksham apiha loke hatvartha kamamstu gurun ihaiva bhunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who were my teachers, like Bhishma and Drona. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. So how can I kill them? Nachaitad vidmaha kataranugariyo yadva jayema yadiva nujayavu jan eva hatva na jijivimsas devasishta pramukhya dhartarashtra. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So Arjuna is thoroughly confused. He does not know even that which is better, to kill them or to be killed by them. So Arjuna is even considering that as an option, that maybe the sons of Dhritarashtra or the Kauravas, better they kill us. Which is dharma? Killing them is dharma or being killed by them is dharma? Because Arjuna is thinking if we kill them, that is maybe going to be adharma. So maybe they killing us can be dharma. So Arjuna is thoroughly confused about the principles of dharma now. And this comes the verse where Arjuna completely surrenders himself to Krishna. Text number 7. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammuda cheta yashe yashan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So Arjuna is now completely surrendered unto Krishna in the text number 7. And Arjuna is also telling a few more verses in this regard. Nahi prapashyami mama panudyad yashokam uchchoshanam indriyanam abhapya bhumau asapatnam riddham rajyam shuranam apichadhipatyam. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So Arjuna is telling, what is the point of getting this, winning the battle and getting the kingdom if my own relatives are not there? We have to kill our own relatives in order to win the battle. What is the point? I am not seeing any point. So Arjuna is now thoroughly confused. Arjuna declared his confusion to Krishna. And now again we are coming back to Sanjaya. Sanjaya speaking to Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya uvacha evam yukta rishikesham gudakesha parantapa nayotsha iti govindam ukta tushtim bahubaha. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. So this was the final word from Arjuna, that considering all these things, better not to fight. Now text number 10. Tam uvacha rishikesha prahasan eva bharata shena yoru bhayar madhe vishidantamidam vacha. O descendant of Bharata, at that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. So now the Supreme Lord is actually starting to impart spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Before, Krishna told that, what are you speaking? You are not speaking like a Kshatriya. So chastised a little bit, but after surrendering, after Arjuna surrendered completely to Krishna, now Krishna is giving or imparting the spiritual knowledge. So this starts the section Atma Tattva or Jnana or Sankhya, which is the analysis of body and soul, from verse number 11 to 30. So these verses are very, very important. The first philosophy discussed in Bhagavad Gita, Atma Tattva. So we can start this section. Maybe we'll not be able to complete it today, and we'll continue the next day. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Asochan Anvasocastvam Pragyavadamscha Bhashase Gatasuna Gatashumscha Nanu Shochanti Pandita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So Krishna is telling, oh Arjuna, you are speaking like a learned person. Pragya Vadamscha Bhashase. You are speaking like a very learned person, but you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Asochvan Anvasochastam. Asochvan means soch. The word soch in Hindi refers to think about or worry about. So asochvan means something which is not worthy for lamenting or not worthy for worrying about. Asochvan, Anvasochastam. But you are thinking or worrying about those things. What is asochvan here? The body. The body is not worthy for lamentation because body will one day go away. This is a material. This is a material body. Material body cannot be preserved eternally. It will go away one day. So why to lament for this? And the soul is always eternal. Nothing can destroy it. So why to lament for that? The body will anyway go away. So why to lament? The soul is not destructible. The soul will never go away. Then why to lament? So therefore, Krishna is posing this logically. Arjuna, why are you lamenting? The body will anyway be destroyed one day, and the soul will never be destroyed. So what is the point of your lamentation? So although you have given so many logics, so many arguments in the chapter 1, you have given 4 arguments for not fighting. So you are speaking like a very learned person. You are thinking about the preservation of Kula Dharma. You are thinking about the sinful reactions. You are thinking about material enjoyment. You are thinking about showing compassion to enemies. But you are acting like a fool here. Okay, so then text number 12. Na tu evaham jatu nasham na tvam neme janadhipa na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayamata param. Krishna says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So in this verse number 12, Krishna says that we were always there in some form. Okay, never there was a time when I did not exist. This is a very important lesson for us, that we existed always. Not that we have got this human body and I have come into existence just after my birth. No, I am always there. I was there 1 million years ago, and I will be there 100 million years later. I will be always there. We all will be always there. We were always there. And Krishna is also always there. So we all are eternal. Krishna is also eternal. The souls are also eternal. But there is some difference between Krishna's being eternal and our being eternal. But the quality is there. The soul is also eternal and Krishna is eternal. Yes, Krishna is quantitatively infinite. We are quantitatively minute. But qualitatively, we and Krishna are same. Both are Satchit Ananda. Sat means eternal. The soul has 3 qualities. Sat means eternal. Soul is always there. Never there was a time when I did not exist. This means soul is eternal. Krishna is talking about the Sat feature of the soul. Chit means the soul is always knowledgeable. Soul always knows that I am not this body and I am eternal servant of Krishna. Soul knows everything, is completely enlightened. Maya cannot capture in the enlightened state. But when the soul desires to enjoy independently from Krishna, then the soul comes into this material world, and then Maya captures this soul. And then under the influence of Maya, the soul loses all his knowledge and the soul is thrown into ignorance. So by default, the soul has Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat means eternal. Chit means full of knowledge, and Ananda means full of bliss. But after coming into this material world, being captured by Maya, every person thinks that when I took birth, I came into existence, and when I will die, I will lose my existence. So that means the person does not know about the Sat feature of the soul. This is due to Maya. The person thinks that everything is happening by chance, and there are so many atheistic theories. The soul is not in knowledge, and also in material world everyone is depressed, anxious, and they are suffering. So this is not a blissful condition. But by practicing the science of Bhakti Yoga, by again reconnecting with the Supreme, the soul can revive its original qualities of Sat, Chit and Ananda. So here Krishna is speaking about the Sat feature, that everybody existed always. You and all these kings, never there was a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all those kings. Means everyone existed all the time. Nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So we will always exist in the future also. Then text number 13. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kumaram yovanam jaram tatha dehantar praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. We just discussed about this, that the body in the boyhood to youth and the old age, these bodies are different. Okay, so the soul in a single lifetime also passes through different bodies, and the soul accepts another body at the time of death. So a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Death is not something very great. It is a very natural phenomenon. Matra sparsastu kvanteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agamupayino nityastam titikshasva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O son of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So sometimes we can face favorable situations, sometimes we may face unfavorable situations. But in all situations, in all circumstances, we should execute our duty. So that's the instruction. So just like Prabhupada gives a very important analogy here. If you read the purport of this verse, Prabhupada gives the analogy, just like a mother, the mother is cooking every day. Whether it is summer or winter, the mother is cooking. When it is winter, cooking may be very pleasurable because the atmosphere is cold, and while cooking, we are in front of the fire. So it may be a very pleasurable experience. But in the hot summer, cooking may be very painful, but the mother executes the duty. So similarly, the situation may be favorable or unfavorable, but we must execute our duty. Sometimes we may be like our day is great and all the tasks are happening. We are very happy. So in that day, we are feeling very grateful to Lord that, oh Lord, you have given me such a nice day. And we are motivated to chant the holy names. We are chanting, everything goes on very nicely. But someday, some things may not work out and we are morose. But still, on that day also we should chant. We should not think that, no, today I don't feel like chanting. Just like the mother does not say, in the summer, I don't feel like cooking. We cannot say that today I don't feel like chanting. Today I don't feel like reading the Bhagavad Gita. We have to be persistent and consistent in our efforts. Situation may be favorable or unfavorable. We have to execute our duty. So therefore, Krishna is telling this verse because although fighting with irreligion is the duty of a Kshatriya, but Arjuna here is thinking that, oh, these are my family members, how can I fight? Fighting with the family members is not favorable. So therefore, let me not execute my duty. When the things will be favorable, means if someone who is my enemy is in front of me, then this is very pleasurable to fight. But because my own family members are in front of me, this is not very favorable. So therefore, I will not execute my duty. So Krishna is telling, no, you cannot do that. Whether the situation is favorable or unfavorable, you have to execute your duty. Okay. So this is a long section, and this will span up to verse number 30. So let's continue this from this point. Next week, we will continue this section of Jnana and Sankhya, and we will understand how Krishna refutes the argument of compassion. Okay. So we'll continue from text number 15. I will also recommend that we are discussing, in every verse, we are discussing something. So you take a very brief note for each and every verse. So sloka number 11, what is discussed, write that in one sentence. Sloka number 12, whatever is discussed, write that in one sentence. So in such a way, each one of us will have a Bhagavad Gita written by ourselves. And that is a great achievement. And in that way, we will really understand Bhagavad Gita. Because when we hear from one ear and this goes out of the other ear and nothing stays. So if we write summaries from each section, whatever we learn and what theme is being discussed, and each one of us will have a Bhagavad Gita written by ourselves. And then we will really understand. Okay. So any questions from chapter 1 or chapter 2 up to verse number 14? Or any point you want me to clarify, to take notes? Okay, hopefully there are no questions. If you face any questions in any point of time, you can always WhatsApp me. Okay, so now we'll chant one round together, which is our duty. And as Krishna is telling, we must execute our duty. This is our spiritual duty.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for attending this session. We'll again meet next week, same time. Hare Krishna.